Hey guys, this is Mr. Brooks. I'm making this video because there were some questions that I didn't get a chance to answer on Wednesday's class for geometry. So the first thing is some people were having trouble with their calculators and they were getting a different number. And we figured out the answer. The answer is that there's another mode than degrees and it's radians. I'm trying to remember how to bring up a calculator. But basically, when you're in this, there's a button down here at the bottom, and it's either going to say radians or degrees. If you click radians, it says radians right there at the top. And if you click degrees, it's just, that's kind of like the default normal. You want to be in degree mode for this, okay? Radians is a different way of measuring a circle or an angle, and we are not going to have time to cover it here, but maybe like if you take pre-cal, then we go over to radians because radians actually work a little bit better. So that's the first thing. You can also have radian mode on these calculators. You need to be careful. If you get an answer that doesn't make sense, you basically just go to mode, and the whatever mode is, it's at the top. Yeah, it's degree right there, degree. There's a button at the top. It says degree radians, or I think that's graduate or something. So you want to make sure you're in degree mode. Then there's a website that I want to point out, and I want to try to show you where to get to it. It's from Math Warehouse, and this is something a lot of students struggle with is finding the sides of a triangle, because you might think that you might struggle with understanding what's the opposite side versus what's the adjacent side. And if you go to this website and you go down to trigonometry, so we're going to go right here. What just happened? This is why I don't like my mouse. Trig. You have this introduction to sine, cosine, and tangent. And they do a really good job of visualizing this stuff. And so, it's right here. It's going to load. There it is. So it says activate either angle to explore adjacent or opposite. And so if you click on angle A, you'll see adjacent is beside angle A, opposites over here. And if you change to B, they switch. And the hypotenuse is always the same. So I think this is a really good kind of visual way of seeing, opposite and adjacent angles. Hopefully the hypotenuse makes sense. Okay, and then the last thing, there was a question on the the special right triangles part 1. So I'm going to look at that. Okay, so if leg 1 is 5, well, let me just draw it out. It's an isosceles triangle, right? So you have 2 legs, and we know the isosceles triangle theorem. If one leg is aside the other leg is congruent. If one leg is a measure, the other angle is congruent. So these two are always the same, right? Okay, they're always the same. All right. And then for this, the hypotenuse, if it gives you this, remember that the hypotenuse is just the length of the leg times root 2. So if it's times root 2, then that would just be 6. So this worksheet should take you like no time to do. Okay. All right. Hope that helps.